the feta cheese is Bulgarian, it's not Greek. And many people think that it's
Really?
Greek.
Okay.
A lot of things that people don't know about Bulgaria. The accent was challenged also. Many people don't, right away they see that I have accent. Sometimes I felt that it's kind of maybe weakness. Many times I felt that I don't have equal start with Canadian.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
I can tell myself,
In the intricate journey of immigrants, rediscovery becomes an essential theme. The often disheartening experience of having one's international professional expertise invalidated can propel individuals into a profound journey of self reinvention. Many find themselves navigating the challenging terrain of career change, seeking new avenues to express their talents and redefine their purpose. Today, we delve into this transformative narrative, exploring the resilience and adaptability required to thrive amidst such pivotal life shifts. Amidst their exploration, we have the privilege of welcoming someone who's an international speaker, author, and specialist in sleep, menopause, and holistic wellness. For immigrants, the professional landscape can be particularly challenging, with credentials often needing validation in a new context. Our guest's story is a testament to the resilience needed to not just overcome these hurdles, but to emerge stronger and more purposeful. Her dedication to helping women find their power, passion, and purpose amid the complexities of menopause reflects a broader theme of empowerment and self discovery. Join us in this enriching conversation as we explore the intersection of immigrant experiences, career transformations, and holistic well being. Please welcome Dilyana.
thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So, Diana, in this season, which is the second season of my podcast, I'm trying to turn up the fun factor a little bit. So, I'm going to start by asking you some fun questions that I have. So, ready?
Ready?
So, the first question is, tell me, what is your go to breakfast?
Recently, funny enough, I skipped the breakfast. I just take
Okay.
hot water with lemon and ginger, and then I have my coffee. But usually, if I have a breakfast, it's more salty, like toast or some oatmeal or cereals. But most of the times, it's the toast with avocado, tomato, and all this stuff.
Okay. Okay. And I suppose you are also vegan. Is that correct? I
Yeah,
read it
yeah,
somewhere.
I'm vegan. Yeah.
And is that something you adopted like recently, or were you like vegan for a long time?
I first was vegetarian. I became vegetarian in 1999. I was
Mhm.
26 old. Then after 7, 8 years, in 2000, actually after 9 years, in 2007, I decided to switch to vegan.
And my second question is share a favorite song or a dialogue or a movie and tell us that why it's significant to you.
I cannot specify because I like so much variety of genre and so and I don't have just one and it is that's it. I just have a team and then have recently my favorite for this year. Let's say it's Flowers of Miley Cyrus and
Okay.
the movie I love Matrix. I love Avatar
Mhm.
and I love Star Wars.
So if you had to teach like one phrase or something in your native language to all of us, what would it be?
Good day.
Okay, sure. Yeah. How do we say that?
Dober then.
Dober den.
Yeah, say it very well.
Uh,
Very, very well.
okay. Oh, dober den. I like that.
Yeah.
Interesting. And the last is if you could teleport back to a particular place from your home country for a day, where would you go and what would you do?
Oh, it's difficult to choose, really. We have a very
Mhm.
nice seaside resort, and they have mountains also. So I will be really difficult to choose mountain or seaside. But most of maybe the
Hmm.
beaches. Yeah, maybe I went to some of the seaside resort. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So speaking of going back to your home country, I would like to take you back to the time you spent in Bulgaria. Tell us a little bit about your formative years and how was it like just growing up there?
Yeah, I grew up in the communist years until I was 16. The regime changed from communist to democracy. And they
Mhm,
changed so many times from there going on. So we went through a big recession. You went through changes of different governments. And then we changed. Um, you enter in a European Union in 2007. That changed a
mhm,
lot also for
yeah,
Bulgarian to travel in Europe just with ID card and become part of European Union. It was helpful for economic, also for the infrastructure, and so many things. Many Bulgarians start to study in Europe, in abroad. There was this tendency before, but after the change, really Bulgarians start travel a lot because they was restricted during the communist
mhm.
time to travel. So they start to travel a lot, immigrate, study abroad also, and work abroad. They just
Mhm.
spread everywhere.
If you can tell me something about maybe the family dynamic and how it is like just growing up within the such sort of a culture that you had, or maybe you can educate us how the Bulgarian traditional culture is.
So Bulgarian during the communist time, everybody has a job. My parents is kind of middle class. My
Mhm,
mom is nurse and my father is electrician. But my father was very smart. He was able to learn everything technically. Technically, he was able to
mhm,
repair everything uh, from. From oven, computers, to even the bus.
the
Yeah,
tiniest to the biggest things.
he was the biggest in also the washing machine, everything electronic. He was able to repair, and he was a kind of many people ask him to help him in their home when they have a problem,
Mm, okay.
electrical or whatever. That was a side of the his job. He used to work in the bank as electrician. Um,
Mhm,
so I can say that he knew more than engineer, even probably sometimes.
mm,
Uh, and they was regular family, everybody in a communist country in Bulgaria, until you change the regime, went 2 times per year in holidays. Most of the people owned their own apartment. They have also a cottage. They have a
mhm,
car. That's changed a lot after the change become democracy. So it split a lot. It become very poor and very rich. It kind of the middle class kind of disappeared.
mhm,
The education was very important for Bulgarian, regular family. So most
mhm,
of the family wanted their children to study either engineer, either doctors or lawyers, or at least become a teacher.
mhm,
That
okay.
was kind of uh, they push the children to really have a good education. You used to have a really prestigious good education during the communist
Mhm,
time. After that was it's changed. Even foreigner
mhm,
came to study for medicine in Bulgaria because it was good,
mhm.
really good.
Okay. And what city are you in from?
I
To be
was born
specific.
and grow in the capital, Sofia.
Okay. Sophia. And if I'm not wrong, it's also a pretty collectivist society, right? Like just like India, like we guys are very close knit families. Our neighborhoods are very connected. Is that the same in Bulgaria? I believe.
Yes, when you live in the like a block apartment, you used to have always the old people sitting in front of the block, and they just chatting,
Ah,
make a
okay.
friends. So I when I grow up, you always with other children play outside in front of the block and all day long when you wasn't in school. So it was kind of
Hmm.
more really, and you used to have to go to the camps a lot from school and then from the
Hmm.
university. And they was kind of really the Bulgarian in general is very friendly, very
Hmm.
hospital people. You
Okay.
love
Hmm.
to go to be a guest to somebody else. We invite the guests in our houses. Young people love parties a lot.
Hmm.
So it's kind of yeah, it was very community orientated also. Yes.
Hmm. Yeah. This reminds me of something like in my class when I moved to Montreal for the first time to Canada. I had a classmate, she was from Bulgaria, and I think she was in her mid 30s. And one day we all went to an Indian restaurant to eat. And you know how in India we have naans, like the breads, our breads are called naans, and you have to like tear them apart and dip them in the curry and you eat it, right? I was eating it with my hand, and she saw me and she said, "Oh, you are eating with your hands." I said, "Yeah, that's how we eat." She said, "Oh, like in our culture, we were like scolded by our parents if we start eating with our hands." So, do you have any similar story or something that you can share?
Yeah, yeah. You used to do that, but it's considered unpolite. When you if you do it
Hmm.
in home, okay, but if you go somewhere else in a public place, you don't do that. It's for us. It was kind of in our culture. It wasn't unpolite to do that in a public
Hmm.
place.
Okay, okay, that's interesting. And is there something, Dilyana, that people might not know about Bulgaria that you would like to share, or just educate people about anything particular?
Oh, there's actually a lot of things that people don't know about Bulgaria. First, Bulgaria
Yeah.
is one of the oldest European country. It's dated from 1,300 years. So she was founded 681 before Christ. And Bulgarian yogurt is very famous. It's one of the best.
Mm,
You have also Bulgarian rose to make. We can make a cosmetics and very famous rose for
mm-hmm,
rose oils or rose water. It's very famous too. Uh,
mm-hmm,
so Bulgaria, not from yes, and shake the head for no. So it's opposite of the
mm-hmm,
normal that people do, right? Instead,
mm.
when you say like that, it's not yes, it's no. When you say like that, it's yes. It's opposite.
Okay.
Then also, Bulgaria never was the flag in the battle.
Mm-hmm,
Also, Bulgaria preserved her name old during the history. Also, the Cyrillic alphabet, because you have Cyrillic alphabet, become the third official alphabet in European Union after Bulgarian joined in 2007. Um,
okay.
yeah, we have a Cyrillic. Then you're Orthodox, but you can see in the capital in Sofia, Catholic
Mm-hmm,
Church, mosque, and Christian also. It's kind of uh, in the downtown. You can see three, four different also different churches. But we in general we're Orthodox. Um, the food is very very particular. We have of the Bulgarian in general eat meat a lot, but we have a specific dishes that it's really traditional. It's very tasty. It's kind of we have
mm-hmm,
a famous salad which is tomato, cucumber, and feta cheese. And by the way, the feta
mm,
cheese
okay.
is Bulgarian, it's not Greek. And many people think that it's
Really?
Greek,
Okay.
but actually the origin is it's Bulgarian. You have 4 or 5 type feta cheese. If that's our cheese, the other is we have other word for this orange one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the interesting. I I I can think about many things, but most maybe this is enough for now.
Yeah. Oh, wow, I mean, lot of information, and definitely I didn't know about many of these facts. My classmate didn't tell me about all these things. Um, and would it be like correct to say, or not, that the lot of the food choices or the culture is sort of influenced by the Greeks? Is that so?
Um, Little bit Greeks, mostly Turkey, because it was five
Hmm.
cycle until Ottoman Empire. So Turkey have a
Okay.
big influence in our culture. Yeah.
And you also talked about, the Cyrillic alphabet. That basically the script that you write, and that's also very similar to the Greek script, I believe.
No, very different. It's
Oh, it's
like
different. Okay.
alphabet. It's like a Russian. We have only one word different. They have one word more that
Hmm.
you don't exist in Bulgarian. But So the alphabet is like Russian. You think about Russian, it's same. This almost the same.
Okay, so Russian and Bulgarian is very similar, you're saying. Just to.
Yes, and Macedonian. Actually, Macedonia was part of Bulgaria, and it was kind
Okay.
of
Yeah.
for us. It's almost the same language. It's kind of different dialect. And Serb
Hmm.
also. You can very easily understand Serbian and Macedonian, and they
Hmm.
understand us. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And is this also one of the countries which was divided and was part of the Yugoslavia, I believe? Is that so?
No, never we was
No,
part
no,
of
right?
Yugoslavia,
It
but
wasn't. Okay,
it
okay.
was it
My bad.
wasn't
Yeah.
never. But it was battle.
Mhm,
They we battle between. But most of battle was with Roms or
mhm.
Byzantia before that, and then with Turkey, and
Okay.
then you form all the country around us. But Bulgaria
Mhm,
was divided many times. After World War, after Second World War, they cut us and they give us a little bit in Greece, little bit in Serbia. So
mhm.
it become from bigger, it become a little bit more smaller.
Okay. Okay. Very, very, very interesting. I love that. Love this conversation. Now let's talk a little bit about your career choices. You end up studying law and you pursued law and you even practiced law in Bulgaria. Tell us, like, why did you decide to get into that?
As I say, when I was time to choose and I was in high school, because I was in a specialized class, which is more focused on literature, Bulgarian language, history, and I
Hmm.
supposed to choose after to go with journalism or law.
Hmm.
And I don't know why mom decided my character actually is good for the war. And I just decided that because I love study. It's my just my personality. I love study, and I
Hmm.
study. I was fascinated. I love it, and because I want to defend the weak, the
Hmm.
unprivileged, and all this.
Hmm.
This was my idea, and I really did that. I used to work a lot of pro bono when I start.
Okay.
I work different cases. I didn't specialize yet, but I have inside call that I wanted to expand my learning um, beyond the Bulgaria. I start to feel
Hmm.
Bulgaria too small for me, and I wanted to explore the world. And then one day I just remember one of my colleagues met me in the front of the court. I wanted to have to defend some case, and she asked me how I'm doing and what I'm up to. I say, oh,
Hmm.
I start to feel fed up. I want to go abroad and just expand and learn, and then
Yeah.
just she was so shocked that I can throw away everything and just leave the country because if I pursue this, I can have a really good career development, really well
Hmm.
established. Nowadays, my colleagues have their own uh, office and they're really prosperous. But I just decided to. That's not me. I want to travel and learn from experience when I travel.
Yeah, I think that's what further led you to France, I believe, right? You moved to France.
Yes, first time, yeah, one of my friends just offered me. Do you know that there's one company that offer a job in France just for babysitting? You can learn the language, and I always learned the French many years, but I wasn't able to speak. And I decided, okay,
Hmm.
at least I can practice French and then
Hmm.
improve my
Yeah.
French at least. It's so yeah, you make a contract for 9 months for babysitting and learning
Hmm.
French, and that's really helped me to then because in going in France in this family, helping with their children, one of the man actually was Canadian, and this
Okay.
time I get inspired from other friends to apply for Canada to immigrate. So it was kind of
Hmm.
there was nothing by chance. I think whatever
Hmm.
the journey whenever everybody have, wherever you went, there's some sense to go there. Maybe you're gonna discover something, or you have something to do
Hmm.
there. To it's not just by chance.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think there's always a reason why you are put in certain situations in certain places. It just it just sometimes is difficult to realize that in that moment, but when you reflect back and you see that maybe I was meant to go to, in your case you were meant to go to France and meant to meet that the people, the children you were babysitting and their parents, that okay, the guy is from Canada, and you got to learn more about that. So I think all these things unfold, life actually unfolds in a very mysterious way, and we don't realize it in the moment, but eventually you see how, when you actually connect the dots and you see how beautiful it is, yeah.
Interesting fact was that I returned in France every 10 years, kind of without calculate, without plan. It just happened. And I felt when I
Mm.
was there, I felt a really connection with this country and something that
Mm.
I probably was there in my previous life or something. But the language, the culture, everything was very familiar to me. And whenever I went back, it's kind of, yeah, I'm kind of my second home. So it's very, very
Mm.
interesting.
Yeah. So when you went there for the first time in 2003, Dilyana, of course, like you were doing the babysitting job, but what is something that, was it like any sort of like a cultural shock, or was it like any sort of a certain barrier that you faced just by living there, or there's anything that you would like to share or educate us about your experience that you had within those 9 months living in France?
In France, the food is different, and the people enjoy the food in
Mm.
different way. In general, how they live in everyday life is different than the way Bulgarian live.
Yeah.
Um, and it was interesting experience really. I was in a small city in I think northwest called Nantes. Then
Conan. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the West. Yeah.
yes, yes, and then the lucky thing is that they take took me with when they travel in vacation. They took me with them. I went to visit the Alps. I went in their cottage in some other places. So
Mm.
I kind of travel
Okay.
a little bit to see different places. I have difficulties in the beginning to understand and speak with the family and with the children. But going every day in
Mm.
school, learning a lot, I start slowly to start express myself and to speak. And it was very kind of patient with me because I didn't
Mm.
know many things like I study all the time and I wasn't able to learn a lot about how to take care of children. So it was very challenging for me learning how to take care of four children from university going to take care of children right
Yeah.
away.
I'm actually amazed at how did they hire you, like without any prior experience, or even you said you didn't even speak the same language. So how did they end up hiring you?
I don't know. Really, I don't know how they choose me.
Okay.
I probably was destiny or something, but they was very patient to learn the language, to
Mm.
learn the culture, to learn the. It was very confident to leave me the children. But my job was actually so they used to have a very big house and the women used to she was architect but she worked in another city from Monday to Friday. Only
Okay.
the man was at home but my job was in the morning to bring the children in school and then I was free for my study until 3 o'clock afternoon when I come take pick up the children from the school and I have 1 2 hours
Okay.
to play with them and then
Mm.
I can start prepare the
Mhm.
dinner and then the men come and you eat together. And Saturday, Sunday when the woman was back, I was free. So I ride my bike, I just go around. I have friends by chance there, Bulgarian. So we get
Okay.
together. It was fun time. It was fun time.
Yeah. No, definitely sounds like a fun experience and like an adventure. You all said it was like a first time moving out. So then you came back like immediately after 9 months.
Yeah, I decided to go
Okay.
back, not to decide to apply to another family.
Okay.
And uh, then I have to adapt to Bulgaria,
Mm.
to living there again, working for job again. I kind of was disconnected with what I already did. But I have
Mhm.
this idea in my mind. I already applied for Canada, but it took me 1 year and a half. So I used to work something different than WoW until I'm waiting to the process to go to Canada.
Mhm. So in all this, how did you get exposed to yoga? Like, how did that happen? Tell us about that.
Oh, that was in 2012, still in Bulgaria. Because I actually, when I immigrated, I was 5 years in Canada until 2008. Then go back to Bulgaria 5 years. During this time when I was back, um, I already meditate a lot, and I have active wife. But friend of mine introduced me of yoga, and I start doing yoga at home. And then when I go back to Canada in 2013 again, I don't know. I was with friends, and one friend just suggests why you don't try to do the yoga teacher training. I say, okay, that's maybe that can be interesting for me until I'm looking for another job again. Um, and I find a school and I like the teacher and I start study. And the more I study, I felt that it's actually my thing, my passion. I want to share
Mm.
this knowledge with others, and I want to help them with doing the yoga and teaching the yoga. I just saw myself in this.
Then you finally, came to Canada in 2013, I believe, when you finally moved, right?
Second time, yeah, second immigration. Second immigration,
Yeah.
2013, there I
Okay.
settled down, yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the process. Like, how was the process for you? Like, was it like an easy process for you to move? Was it like a lot of, like, like for example, we coming from India, we had to go through like a lot of like processes and applications and multiple forms you have to fill. Was it something similar for you?
No, for me it was very easy.
Okay.
I went through Quebec system, which is different than the other side, other part of Canada. So I
Mm-hmm.
already speak language. That was my preparation in France
Mm,
to for
yeah.
immigration. So immigration when I come in Canada wasn't really shocked for me because I was prepared also with France.
Mm-hmm.
The living in Canada and France wasn't so different. So for me, I was already prepared with language, with living abroad by myself, and all this. The challenge was that they want certain amount of money to show them that I can in the beginning
Of
have
course. Yeah.
to invest, but you find this money. It's just it was a matter of time to gather this money and show them that I'm can sustain my wife. So went through the medical exam and then I went through the interview. Luckily, for first time, they opened office in Sofia also. Many people before that travel to go to
Mm-hmm.
Austria or Bucharest for the interview. But for me, they come to Sofia and I have the
Mm-hmm.
interview there. The French was, of course, perfect. I understand them very well. They understand me. I have all the points. I was young. I was with high education. I knew the language, and I cover most of the points that they looking for. So it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
so difficult. And in a matter of fact, then I have a period of time to prepare for travel, but the process was really easy. But I hear from other people going through second interview, third interview, have
Absolutely. Yeah.
difficulty to for the documents. The up for application also this but I just for the application I was found people to help me and then everything was very easy.
Wow. Like it sounds like Canada wanted you to come,
It sounds like it was kind of, yeah, you have
Yeah.
to go there, that's all. When I went to Bulgaria 5 years after when I took my passport, okay, first year was okay, second, and then I started have difficulties, and I saw again that it wasn't by chance. It's kind of Canada call me back again. You have to go
Mm.
back. That's your place, not Bulgaria.
And so tell us about your first day then when you landed for the first time. How was that like? What was your like initial thoughts or emotions?
I just excited. I was very excited to start new life. I remember. Luckily, again, I have a friend from Bulgaria to greet me and to accept me to live in his house until I go through the process of the social insurance number, medical
Okay.
card, open the bank account, and all this. And then I went to see somebody of immigration officer to orientate me what to do and what it's what for me. It's right away was clear that if I want to progress, I need to study again because it doesn't matter
Mm.
what kind of education I have, what kind of degree I have, what equivalence they give me eventually. The Canada doesn't care. You need to adapt and took from where you are another education to claim this Canadian experience that they want. Because Either you have
Absolutely.
some specific skills that you have to go to work right away, or you have to go back to school and learn again to adapt with what the system is here, right? For education, for work, for everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's Canada for you. Most of the professional experiences discarded. In your case, you were a lawyer. Did you actually even try at any moment to get into the industry, or you knew that it's not going to happen? To
Yeah,
tell us
yeah.
about that experience. Yeah.
I try. Actually, so first thing that I went, it's a kind of college for lawyer assistant to, but it
Okay.
it wasn't it was Finnish application, and I should wait until next May. It was October, I think. They told me we finish the application, or late September or something like that, and you
Okay.
need to wait until next May.
Hmm.
Then I tried to find the kind of internship to some company to start working for free just to see how is that. But they told me no, you cannot accept you in the either for internship because you're not familiar with our system, with how the
Hmm.
system works. You need to have some kind of education here for that. So for me was two choices. I have to go back
Hmm.
and study the bachelor again 4 years, and then I have to
Oh, wow.
specialize either a lawyer, either a notarius. So and I really wasn't sure that it's I want to go back and repeat all these years by myself. And I went to university in a bachelor, but kind of mixed program with economics because I have also another economics education. Um,
Hmm.
and wasn't work well because the system in Canada specifically, what I find out is if you need to start from college to be well prepared to go to university with
Yeah.
their system and the way they they study, uh,
Yeah.
and and I was kind of nowhere. I didn't understood also an academic language so well. They wanted
Mm.
to have a really perfect English and French together,
Okay.
um, and that was challenge for me. And then I have some classes to improve my French, improve my English, but still wasn't enough to make analysis of the books, write because you write a lot. Still, I try. I think I try master of international law, but because of
Okay.
this that I have to write a lot in both languages, it was again challenges. I wasn't prepared well, so I say okay, I need to find something more simple, more easy.
Hmm.
And my mistake was that I didn't want to wait until May next year, and then
Hmm.
for this administrative legal assistant. So I went to
Okay.
private school for administrative assistant in general. As I said, maybe I can specialize later. And
Hmm.
I did that 1 year. And then I decide, okay, now I can start do just secretarial reception. And I do that. I find I changed the jobs, but it was easy when they saw that I graduate actually the college, private college or
Yeah.
whatever, any college.
It helped you to get like some sort of
It helped
start.
me to get started actually. But it took me almost 1 year and a half and 2 years to find jobs similar to what I used to have, either with their education,
Mm.
with the experience that I have, international experience already, and Canadian experience. I wasn't able to find any job,
Mm.
so that was tough.
Why do you think is that?
I think that in Quebec in this time was in recession, and there was a lot of
Mm.
many people doesn't have a work, and then I have a lot of competition. I went to many kind of government exam also. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. In this time, I
Hmm.
find the yoga, and this
Yeah.
time I find the passion I wanted to teach, and I did 1 year teacher training, still looking and hoping to find a good job. Just one day, one friend of from Vancouver called me and say, "Why you don't come here? I can help you with the job." I did that. I just gathered everything that I had, borrow a little bit money, and just move the provinces. It's another immigration, by the way.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
But luckily,
Yeah.
this friend really helped me in my first weeks to get the job. security. They give me the training, they give me the first certificate, and I started right away to work. I never stopped teaching yoga. I worked as security.
I think it's pretty encouraging, like you have really rediscovered yourself and your careers multiple times. Starting from being a lawyer, that didn't work out. You tried your best, that didn't work out. You got into yoga, you also got to administration, and now you end up doing the security job. And you didn't stop there. You end up studying yourself, teaching yourself, researching and educating yourself about various other subjects, and then you end up starting your business. I want to talk more about that, but before I get into that, I want to ask you about your daily life as an immigrant in Canada. Like you said, you have immigrated like twice, went back, came back again. How was that shift for you like? Because you were getting into a new world, and this time you were not traveling, you were moving. You moved to an absolutely new place. That's going to be your new life. So, did you at any point prepare yourself, or was there something that you were not prepared for that happened with you? Or did just to add to that, any other point, since that podcast is my thick accent, at any point the accent acted as a hindrance in any way during your time in Canada?
Yeah, the accent was challenge. Also, many people don't right away they see that I have accent.
Hmm.
um, and sometimes I felt that it's kind of maybe weakness. Maybe that's something that prevent me to get a good job when they saw my accent.
Mm,
um, and also many times I felt that I don't have equal start with Canadian, and I have to compete with in a different level with them,
yeah.
even my knowledge in language and everything. Um, and most of my friends was other immigrants from all over the world, but not Canadian in the beginning. Um,
Hmm.
and I was also in Bulgarian community a little bit. That's helped me, but it was challenge to find really my place in my
Mm,
kind of feel good where I am, and I always felt kind of um, I miss something. I have to do something
mm,
more. I'm not enough. I have to learn
yeah.
more. I have to study more. I have to work hard to be able to reach this level that I felt that I deserve and I want. Uh, and yeah, and then until I end to okay, I say if I'm not accepted fully, I will create my thing. I will create my business, and
Mm,
I will be my own boss, and I'm not gonna beg anymore for any job.
yeah. And that's very encouraging, very very powerful. Again, being able to going through all that and questioning. And I think it's common, it happens with many immigrants. We do question our skills and our abilities, and we just try to change ourselves just to adjust in somehow, which is eventually you realize that that wasn't the best thing to do. It's very important to be your authentic self and believe in your skills and abilities that you have brought with yourself. But tell me about a time where maybe, Dilyana, you were at your lowest, and how did you pull yourself out of that imposter syndrome pit? How did you do that?
I many times I was in my worst, and how this feeling that inferior and imposter syndrome and all this. Many times
Yeah.
specifically in Quebec, many times I was in welfare, not so much in British Columbia, but there I was many times, and that I felt kind of not value enough and
Hmm.
evaluate, and the kind of my really my confidence struggle a lot with and self-esteem also. um,
Yeah.
and I sometimes I say how it's possible to just don't find really my place, my space, my and I was many times in my wall, many, specifically in the second time when I start from zero again. Um, building, I have a knowledge, experience already, and I knew where to go, what to do, but still it was tough. It was many times it was tough. And then when in British Columbia, I was not bad. I was kind of better than in Quebec, but
Hmm.
recently I experienced again kind of insecurity, when I was in a medical leave. I was injured actually a few months ago, and
Okay.
I was afraid if they didn't took me back to work, or I didn't have enough clients, or my business isn't going well.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm gonna do? I was very scared period of my time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I had a lot of things, but I think always find the hope and believe that I can find a way. I can find a way to do what I love, to prove that I'm good enough to do the work and to just improve. Because for me, always was this. It wasn't just to find any job and just survive. I was to really move forward and kind of contribute with my knowledge and experience to the society, help people, and expand. Because I felt inside that I need to move forward. I need to develop everything that I already
Mm-hmm.
have. Just I don't want to stay in one place with one skills, with one job all my
Yeah.
life. I just feel inside that I need to improve, and there's something more out there. I just feel all the time that there's something more for me out there.
Absolutely. I think you already answered my next question. It was going to be my next question that what advice would you give to somebody who is kind of in the similar situation? And I think you said it all, making the best use of your current resources and believing in yourself and always chasing for the next thing and not getting stuck. Anything else that you would like to add to that?
Yeah, never stop believe in yourself, believe in your knowledge, in your skills, and ask for help. Actually, there's a lot of people can help you.
I
Ask
love
for
that.
help,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
yeah, the Canada. The good things in Canada is that you cannot be left really to be miserable. You're always gonna have a
Mm.
minimum that you need to have a wife. But if that's the good thing in Canada. I mean, not many countries that have that. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of resources. You just need to find the right one.
Okay, then let's just pivot towards your business that you have. Please tell us all about it that people should know about it and how they can connect with you.
So I love to help women with their health going through these symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. I support them how they can alleviate these symptoms in natural way. I use different relaxation techniques, breathing, because I coming as you discuss from yoga background. So I use my knowledge with
Yeah.
in yoga and everything else with the health to set up the right mindset for women going through these challenges, how they can approach this challenge and what they can do to gain again their confidence, don't feel isolated and alone, feel the community support, and also feel that they're understood, so that they can
Hmm.
express themselves more free, become more resilient, more empowered, and more in balance. I teach how to
Yeah.
balance the daily life with the demanding of a career or job or business, with the challenges of mental, physical, and emotional. So it's a combination of movement, of mindset, of relaxation technique, some little bit of healthy habits, how to eat, what you need to change in your diet, so that you become really
Hmm.
a better version of yourself during this period.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'll definitely encourage if anybody would like to seek your help. And I'll put the links to that in the show notes as well, your LinkedIn and your website. um but also, like, for my listeners who might not be all women in a certain category that you deal with, but there were like a couple of things which really stood out to me and that I think can help my listeners. And the first thing, like, is that you also call yourself a sleep specialist, and if you can, give us, we immigrants are always lack of sleep, running from one place to the other thing all the time, just to earn a living here as an immigrant. So, like, what advice would you give to these people or immigrants, in this case, our listeners, that can help them have a better sleep?
So if you cannot sleep, it's happened often because of the stress. You come back to again to stress management techniques. I teach how to breathe properly, how the breath is related with the brain, and how actually you have to prepare the brain to relax and to be able to sleep better. Of course, it's not the only things that can help you. I add some also again the food, the lifestyle that you need, the routine that you need to create, the habits that you need to have to implement, so that you train your brain to relax and get this deep
Hmm.
restful sleep. Yeah, if you don't have good night's sleep, you're prone to have accident. You can get easily distracted. That affect your memory, your concentration, your how you perform at work, your relationship, because you can be very irritable and anxious when you don't get
Mm.
this restful sleep. So it's very related to nervous system and brain functioning, because when you sleep, all the cells is renovate and actually work their work, and the blood circulation and everything. So um, if you don't sleep well, you open to different disease like obesity, heart disease,
Mm.
and so much more. So it's so vital for our health to really sleep well.
And the thing that we hear a lot about, like you have to have a minimum of 7 hours of sleep. Do you think, like, is it really important to have seven, or less than seven also works? Because I think majority of the time, we, again, coming back to the immigrant life, it's been 5 years I'm here, and I could not get more than like 5 or 6 hours sometimes. So I don't think that's the best thing. Is that so?
Yeah, most of you it's like that, but not for everybody works exactly. So it's slightly different for different people, because some people can even need more, like 8 or 9 hours to really get rest. And the other,
Hmm.
like I also sometimes need just six. Most of the entrepreneur I know, that's mostly in this six, rarely seven. But what I can say, the sign that you get restful sleep and when you wake up, doesn't matter how many hours, you feel really rested and rejuvenate. It's kind of, it's not feel still tired, you don't feel that you want to sleep, but because of the work or study, whatever
Hmm.
you need to get up. And if that's happened because of the lack of time, your schedule and everything, you can actually get this missing hours or time for sleep with meditation. If you want to
Hmm.
meditate, it's very, so sometimes 1 hour meditation is kind of 4 hours sleep. So if you want
Oh,
to
wow.
meditate to relax the brain, it's the same. You can recharge as you have this enough time sleep, because many times just
Hmm.
because of the night shift or some other shift, you're not able to get this enough time restful sleep during the night, so you have to adapt and adjust accordingly using different tools and techniques.
Very, very fascinating. Like 1 hour can help you compensate 4 hours of sleep. That's very interesting. What are like the other things one can do just to gain that time back
Um,
apart from meditation?
if you are able to have this nap afternoon, don't use it as much as you can. If you work at home, or you still feel that you can have this time for 40 minutes, 1 hour to have this nap, is helpful. Not much, not too
Mm-hmm.
much. Also, avoid the caffeine late afternoon, or tea,
Mm-hmm.
green tea or black tea after later afternoon. Avoid the alcohol that can affect your sleep. Also, sometimes people think that I can have one glass of wine or something just to relax, to make me release the stress from the
Mm-hmm.
day, that can help me to sleep. It's actually opposite, because there's sugar in alcohol, and that sugar level can also prevent you to sleep well. So you have to be
Mm-hmm.
careful. So not too much spicy food late in the night, not too much sugar. Uh, be careful with alcohol and caffeine. I don't say that you have to avoid all the time, but just be careful. And also, what kind of exercise you do. Sometimes when people move during the day, they sleep better. Also, so everything is important.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Yeah, and you also talked about briefly about the breathing,
Mhm.
and when so last summer I was doing this like a speech performance enhancement program. I was like a part of it was like a whole summer. I attended a couple of classes, and one of the things that they taught us was how to basically channel your anxiety into excitement just by breathing. And it was basically about keeping your one hand on your heart and one on your belly, and sitting straight and then breathing slowly and slowly. Is that something that would you also like encourage people to do, just to like manage your anxiety?
For anxiety, for sleep in general, I suggest that you breathe through the nose most of the time, not through the
Hmm.
mouth, because when you breathe through the mouth, actually you create this habit during the night, and that create this sleep apnea, that you call this,
Mm.
because you don't oxygenate enough the brain when you breathe through the mouth. The breathing
Okay.
is not so full, you don't use the full capacity of the lungs. So learn and train yourself to breathe during the day, when you wake up, or a little bit in the evening, through the nose. So you just do this deep breathing with diaphragm, with the belly, and not so much with the chest, and breathe through the nose as much as possible. So there's a different type of breathing, more vigorous, more slow, depend of anxiety. You emphasize of long, slow exhalation. For the low energy, you want to be more to circulate the blood circulation a little bit more. Um,
Hmm.
you just breathe more fast, and like not too much space between the inhale and exhale. But if you want really to relax and take care of anxiety, slow long exhalation, and all the time through the nose, all the time through the nose,
Hmm.
if it's possible, if you
Wow.
can. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you for sharing these. It does shows that how passionate you are about your subjects, and I highly encourage if anybody would like to reach out to you, I'll put the links to that in the show notes. So, Diana, before we get into the final segment, I have introduced this new segment to the second season of the podcast, and I call it Know Your Host, where I give my guests an opportunity to ask me any question they might have. Do it.
Yeah, I'm curious now to know your experience with immigration, and how you come in the Canada, and what bring you here, and what your story. What is your story?
Wow, that might take another episode,
That is briefly,
but I'll
okay.
tell
The
you.
main
I'll
point. Yeah.
no, I'll tell you very briefly, of course. So I came to Canada in 2018 as a national student. I came to study this amazing program called Media Strategies and Advertising, and that was like a 1 year program I came to do. And one of the question you might be thinking that why Canada? Sometimes I think about it, even I don't know. Again, I think I was just destined to come here, and but I think if I really think about that, I think it was because there's a lot of familiarity being an Indian in Canada, and you do have certain relatives and certain friends and family to look up to in case of any um, downfalls that you might have throughout your journey. So that I think that's what made my parents a little more comfortable to send me to Canada rather than any other country. So I would say that's why it was Canada. But once I finished my program, I was also, just like many of our listeners, international students or immigrants, I was struggling to find a job. I also tried everywhere. I tried, gave multiple interviews. It took me, I think, 2 years to finally get the job which I'm doing right now, because pandemic was also the added pressure. And since I studied for just 1 year, I got my postgraduate work permit for just 1 year, and because of that I had very less time to figure my things out, getting the maximum points that's possible for my PR, the best permanent residency. And I think for that I even had to go to a different province, because in Quebec I could not get a job being just an anglophone. I had to be bilingual, and I wasn't. So I ended up going to Halifax, Nova Scotia for some time. I stayed there, and I tried to just navigate the life here, because I was all just like you said, moving to Vancouver was like a second immigration. It was for me as well. I was just starting from scratch again with no friends, no acquaintances, nobody. I didn't know anybody at all. And that's how I think I somehow find the jobs, and the new policies came in. Life did work out somehow, or the other things does work out, and I think I was very positive throughout. Not always. I have had my downfalls as well. I've questioned myself. I have questioned my skills and my abilities. I have also fallen into that imposter syndrome pit, which is took me some time to get out of it. But I think LinkedIn community was really helpful for me. I took on this like a 30-day challenge to post at least like a 30-second video for 30 days, and that gave me a lot of traction, and that helped me connect with a lot of people, and that gave me the courage, and I'm not alone in this journey. There are a lot of people who are kind of going through the same struggles as an immigrant, which how uh, the same way I am going through it. And yeah, I think that's how further things work out eventually after a couple of years. And I got my permanent residency, and I was like, I think it's time for me to lend a helping hand to the people who are sort of in the same boat as I was. And I'm sure those guys, I needed help at that time, and I'm sure there are many more current immigrants or aspiring immigrants who would need that help as well. So I was like, I think it's time, and I think podcasting I felt like would be the right medium for me because it required less resources than a YouTube channel, and that's why I took on this journey to also break those stereotypical modes that we immigrants are asked to fit in, which made me actually question myself, and I don't want other people to fall under the same trap of questioning themselves. That's why I was like, fine, this podcast is a medium, will be a go-to resource for anybody who's trying to navigate a life as an immigrant here. And that's why I bring on people just like yourself to unfold their personal journeys of struggle, resilience, and the whole process of finding home away from home. So yeah, that's
I
been my
actually
journey.
want to congratulate you and I admire you for the willing to help others and to show them what it's possible for them, because not many people are going to do that. And that's really demand a lot of courage and also strength to be able, when you struggle, to help others who struggle too.
Yeah,
That's I admire you
absolutely.
for, and congratulations for what you're doing.
No, thank you. Thank you for asking this question as well. And thank you for your kind words. I never knew I could summarize my 5 years in such a small, in just like few minutes. I don't know how did I do that, but I think I did a good job. It was all
Yeah,
right.
you did great
But
job.
I'm sure there are a lot of details that I would love to share, maybe eventually in the upcoming episodes. But yeah, thank you for that question. Thanks a lot.
We are very welcome.
Okay, so Dilyana, now we're in the final segment of the podcast. I call it Beneath the Accent. I'm going to ask a couple of questions. You can answer them in one word or a sentence or however you feel like. The idea is just to know more about Dilyana. So, ready?
Ready?
So, first question is, what advice would you give to your younger self and at what age?
Actually, I can tell myself like 6 years old or 10 years old, let's little bit in this range,
Hmm.
that never stop to be curious as you are.
Hmm.
Explore new things, learn new things, never stop learning
Hmm.
from life, from people, from not only from school and from books, but in general. Maintain this curious and learning because it's helpful. The more you know about the world, the more you know about the people. That can help you in your life in general.
Tell us about a time when you experienced a significant cultural difference that surprised you a lot in Canada.
When I was in France, it's just the same. The only one culture.
The
That's
French, yeah.
mostly.
Mm,
They have other immigrant there also, but not so much like here. So my
mm,
first encounter was with Latin American people, and I find them
mm,
very. I always find something that it's similar to Bulgarian as a culture, as a character, as psychology. And I
mhm,
love this their desire for life and everything.
mhm,
um, Maybe the more different and difficult to understand for me, even I'm curious and accepting and everything, is maybe Chinese culture. It's kind of, for
mm.
me it's very very different. And like they were to think, they were to live their way to from the everyday life. um,
Okay.
like psychology even, it's kind of, for
Mm,
me it's also Chinese. It's a bigger how to say, like ethnos, but they have also difference. Start after a while, I start to find the difference between the Japanese and Singapore and Hong Kong and the China. I start to see slightly
mm,
difference, but still for me it's very kind of like extraterrestrial ones. I don't know. It's,
Hmm.
yeah, that's
Okay.
that's for
Okay.
me. It's very kind of unfamiliar. Yeah.
Okay. Great answer. Okay. And are there any funny stories related to your misunderstanding around the accent or the English?
Um, Yeah, many times people don't understand me. Even in French, I don't know why. My teacher in yoga doubt that I'm gonna be good teacher because of my accent. But
Hmm.
what I found maybe in English is not so um, pronounced, not so how to say difficult to understand, because English in general it's
Yeah.
not so difficult. In French, little bit more. You need to have little bit specific pronunciation. Um,
Especially with the
yes,
R's, you know?
yeah,
It's
R's
very
and yes,
different with the R's. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes the nuance it's
Yeah.
they can think about something else, not what I mean.
Yeah, I think it happens with many of us because I think for me, for example, people coming from India, they speak like multiple languages, and our ways of pronunciating, pronunciating. See, even right now I just messed it up. Pronunciating, pronunciations, or how we enunciate words is very different. How we do that in our language, like for example, in Punjabi or Hindi, and which is the languages which I speak apart from English, we have a very specific way of emphasizing on certain characters, but here it's something else in English.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is.
Okay.
If they are not so familiar, for them it's strange. But if after that they get familiar with the accent, it's not so big.
Absolutely, I always
Yeah,
say it gives a little bit of time to get accustomed to each other's accents. Be a little patient and everything will get better.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Don't
Okay.
don't frustrate about this, and don't kind of think inferiority. Something wrong with
Absolutely,
you.
no.
No.
Tell us about the first friend that you made in Canada and how did you meet them?
It was in my because I didn't know what to do until I'm waiting to start the school or university or find a job. I went again to improve my French. So the first
Okay.
friend was I think Colombian and then Peruvian. Yeah, and then
Okay.
I think Mexican and then but yeah, definitely Latin American. One Colombian, one Peruvian. Yeah.
Okay, are you still in contact with them?
No, it was contact, unfortunately. But when I was in Quebec the first 5 years, yeah, we was very much in contact.
What's something that you ate for the first time in Canada and did you like it?
Quebec, in you have this Putin, the Putin, and
Okay.
then the other thing was the maple syrup from the tree, and then they put in the snow, and they make it like ice cream with the maple
Ice
syrup.
candies, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
kind of. Yes, that was very very interesting for me.
Okay. And did you like the poutine? Or would you try it again?
Not much the sauce, not so much, not really. It's too heavy.
Okay. If you had to describe yourself as an animal or any creature, what would it be and why?
I like horses because of the freedom that they represent. Sometimes ego because when they fly, I feel that it's freedom also.
So you would describe yourself as a horse or an eagle?
Yeah, there's something forceful, a force when the horse run is beautiful. They have strength also. And they're very friendly in the same
Hmm.
time.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
To be able to move with the speed of light in different parts of the world. So not be reliable of other transportation, but superpower with
Okay.
to be able to really help people who struggle in a way that sustain their life. I also be very helpful.
If you had to create this one law that everybody has to follow, what would it be?
Maybe fair exchange in everything, so you trust everybody
Hmm.
without doubt, and then you know that you will be paid in somehow, some way. Don't be afraid that somebody gonna lie. Just
Yeah,
be you trust each other more and exchange in a fair way.
I love that. Beautiful answer. Okay. So describe Canada in one word or a sentence.
Diversity, freedom, independence.
And lastly, if you could leave me with one piece of advice, Dilyana, what would it be?
Keep the inspiration that you have for the work that you do. It's so educational and good. And yeah, I think what you're doing, as I say, I like very much. And yeah, you want to help people. That's more important. So keep the good work.
Thank you. And finally, how would you describe your experience of being on the podcast?
I like very much this kind of curiosity and learning from other people, right? From their experience, from their knowledge, what they have to say, and what advice they can do for others. I like this educational part of podcast.
Perfect. Thank you, Dilyana, for being on the podcast, sharing your story, and adding value to my listeners. Thank you.
Thank you so much to invite me.